Hey, hey, hey. Well, this week in New York is all the buzz about food. Yes. That's because the James Beard Awards, which is like the Oscars of the food world, is happening this evening.
Now here to talk to us all about his adventures in the culinary world is chef and owner of the restaurant Alvin and Friends, Alvin Clayton.
Hello.
Hey, hey.
Hello. And you brought food.
Yes.
We like you already.
Well, first of all, let's say congratulations to Marcus Samuelson.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Marcus, I heard, is a winner for his cookbook. So we want
right.
to, send that out to him.
He won. He co-wrote the book with Veronica Chambers, and it's called Yes, Chef. And he's a friend of yours, actually.
Well, I won't go that far, but I know Marcus. And I've actually met him a couple of times at Jezebel's, actually, which was a famous restaurant in the theater district. So congratulations to Marcus and all the winners.
So before we get into your life in the culinary world, you actually used to be a model. So how did you make the leap from the catwalk to the kitchen?
Well, that's interesting. When being a model, you have to, you basically offer the workforce. So a model that I worked with, Gail O'Neill, actually, whose boyfriend at the time was a restaurateur, asked me what I wanted to do after modeling. So I said, I can cook, I like people, I know hospitality, maybe I'd open a restaurant. And he was about ready to open a restaurant in Los Angeles called George's with Denzel Washington. And we met, he took a liking to me, invited me to be partners with them, and that's how I got into the restaurant touring and learned it from him.
What was that experience like, working and collaborating with Denzel Washington on George's?
Well, Denzel was really back of the scenes guy.
Okay.
He came in and, because of his association with us, it was a celebrity-based restaurant. But he's just one of the coolest guys, the most down-to-earth guys. He liked just hanging out at the bar with, his hat on, and no one knew it was Denzel. I mean, more people thought that I was Denzel than he was.
I was going to say, I bet you two were trouble in the 80s. Were people coming for the food or coming to look at the both of you?
So that's what the models are.
Yeah.
So after George's, that worked out well, and then you left that to start your own thing called Alvin and Friends right here on the East Coast. Why the East Coast and why Alvin and Friends?
You know what, I loved Los Angeles for the weather and everything else, but I really am an East Coast person. I mean, I'm an artist as well, so I basically, I love the change of seasons. I love being back east, and once my wife and I started having kids, we wanted to be back east, so we moved to New Rochelle.
Oh, you're married? You just disappointed. You just disappointed all of our female viewers. Well, it was nice speaking with you. Thank you, Clayton.
Wait, we have to keep him. He has food. He has to stay longer.
That's right. I cook too, so.
Sorry, ladies. It's not my fault.
You can get the food.
Well, your restaurant has been so successful that you actually moved to a bigger space. We keep hearing about places having to close, but you're booming. So,
you know what?
What's been your secret?
We've been very blessed. I've got to say that we had a 50-seat restaurant, and we were basically bursting at the seams. But I think the formula that we had, which was taking our food with great spices and flavors and taking it into an environment that people that go out that have disposable income can go to, was one of the things. So we became a destination. So we weren't really depending on people just in our neighborhood. People were coming from far and wide to be at our restaurant because of the product that we have in the environment that we placed it in. So,
well, I also think it was a creative concept for your company that you call it Alvin and Friends, because it was actually started by you and a few of your friends all collaborating together financially to make it possible. Yeah, well,
that was one of the formulas that actually really worked. But I tell people the name Alvin and Friends came mostly because the best meals I've ever had have been with friends. So at my restaurant, I greet all of our guests. I go around to make sure everything is right. And if you have a great feeling when you're at a restaurant, everything seems to go well. So I think that's your friends may not be the best cooks in the world, but when you go over there, you've said, those are some of the best meals you've ever had. Yeah. So I think it's that whole package that really helps.
Well, I've been to your restaurant a few times. I'm always surprised to see him there, like he says, greeting people. I'm like, don't you got something to do? He's always there greeting everybody. But everybody seems to love meeting you. They're like, oh, that's Alvin and Friends.
Right. You know what? It's so funny because it's become really demanding because I've seen reviews that people have written about the restaurant. They're like, oh, we had a great meal, the service was great, but I'm so disappointed I didn't get a chance to meet Alvin. So I'm thinking of getting a wax figure made now.
Yeah, you should go to Madame Tussauds and have him just make one of you sit you right there.
Hi, welcome.
Well, your restaurant primarily serves Caribbean soul food, but you are also based in a largely white suburban area. Do that many white people want rice and peas?
Well, they do actually. No, but you know what? Part of the thing with our restaurant is, and I've worked really hard to get away from, there's a stigma that goes with soul food, and you think of it being heavy, and when you leave, you have to, it's like another month before you go there. And I've really worked hard to get away from that. So basically what I've done is I know my demographic. I know what they want. So I've taken the dishes that you find in your finer dining restaurants and basically incorporated our spices with them. I mean, there are people in all parts of the world that you know, they have a certain amount of income or whatever, and they may want to eat like a steak. You never really hear that steak is a Caribbean dish. But if it's seasoned with Caribbean spices, it is a Caribbean dish. So basically, so that is a misconception that people have. So I basically take things that, like, we have a duck on our menu.
Do you now?
That's a jerk duck, yes.
How about you pass that this way?
Well, please, Shannon, try that jerk duck. It's actually,
a few of these meals.
that actually has become our signature dish at the restaurant.
Calm down. So while Alvin and I are over here.
This is not fair. I quit.
Shannon, have
Why, thank you,
Don't quit,
Lola.
Shannon. Come on, have some food.
So this is
Eat
duck.
some food.
What is
Feed
this?
that boy. That is it's a bread pudding that we do. It's a sweet potato bread pudding that goes with it. So the flavors and the jerk is
really
very
good.
subtle. It's not overly spicy
delicious.
because of our demographic, and it works really well.
It's very delicious.
Now I want to try this. Now what
This
is
this is our shrimp, Creole shrimp linguine. So there's a little bit of a kick to it, but once again, it's not over the top. It's just a nice balance of stuff, and it's just really flavorful. I mean, so many people love pasta, you know.
Oh, this is gonna get
And
messy
so
fast.
there's an Italian base there, but it's got a Caribbean flair, you know.
So what do you put in this that gives it that Caribbean flair?
Well, we have a little allspice. We have we have cayenne, a little bit of cayenne pepper.
This
we
is
have
not gonna end
paprika.
well.
We have
Just try
actually
a
have a
shrimp.
spice
Take it easy.
mix. Yes, try one of the shrimp.
Now, Alvin, you say a lot of times soul food gets a bad rap, but do you think that this Caribbean-style
This is
food is a little
delicious.
bit more balanced?
Well, you know what? It's
Delicious,
We
isn't it?
have a few Caribbean dishes and we have a few Southern dishes. There's enough to go around, guys. No, but it's
too good for her to
really,
share.
It really is about
Thank you, Mom.
you know, the way that you prepare the food. Like we have for our fried chicken, we parboil our fried chicken before we cook it, before we put it in the fryer. So it's in the fryer for a very short time. So it's crispy on the outside, yet juicy on the inside. Our collard greens, we do it with smoked turkey as opposed to pork products. So there are little things that you can do, and no one misses the flavors. It's just as good, or even better in a lot of cases, because you feel healthier too. And when you leave, you don't feel like you're weighted down.
What about these chicken wings? Are those fried?
These chicken
are those
wings,
baked? How are those
they
prepared?
are grilled. And,
grilled, even healthier.
It's really
Why, thank
awesome.
you.
It's like we also do it. We change things seasonally as well. So here, okay, like this here, perfect example. We have a quail. You know, you never really hear anybody talking about quail in the Caribbean,
not at
but
all.
the way that we prepare it with our seasoning and spices, it helps.
Alvin, you're also a Renaissance man. You model, you make amazing food, but you're also a painter as well. And apparently, your restaurants are flooded with your work. Talk to us about how you managed to do all of these things so
I've
well.
been very blessed with that. The paintings is my stress reliever. When I was modeling in Paris, I fell in love with Matisse's paintings. And I started copying his paintings for like 6 months and taught myself how to paint that way. And it just became a career of its own. I was featured on another network with a woman, Elsa Clinch, and it got a wide range of views. And people started calling me saying, oh, where can I buy your painting? And it became a career of its own. At the restaurant, I've sold over 50 of my paintings off of the wall.
Really?
Goodness.
And, you know,
what's the range, price range?
It ranges from like $800 to like $5,000 for the paintings. So.
Goodness.
Now, before we go, if someone's coming to your restaurant in New Rochelle, New York, what should they think about when picking the perfect Caribbean meal for them?
You know what? the recipe, the menu in the restaurant is not all over the place. We've really paid attention to all of the aspects of the dishes. So anywhere that people go, they should be fine with it. And our chef, Maurice Major, he does a great job with doing this.
All right. Well, Thank you so much for bringing this delicious food. I'm stealing more of Lola's shrimp.
Well, thank you guys
Excuse
for having me.
Yummy, yummy.
Come back again, please.
Oh, it would be my pleasure. Thank you.
And congratulations.
And you are lovely.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Shannon, you look good too.
Appreciate it.
Tweet us at AriseTV360.